So from the spring, from the sunlight of Sweden, we are going to discuss how Caroline went through the crisis and turned it into an opportunity and a benefit, and especially in a business context. Caroline, could you please introduce yourself and what do you do for business?
Yes, hi. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Caroline, and I'm not Swedish, but I live in Sweden, and I have several businesses within different areas. And in the businesses, we provide services and we provide products. And I started to do my businesses in the middle of one of my biggest life crises, and so that is only 3 years back that I started to be my own company owner, an entrepreneur.
So my understanding is that you turned this crisis into an opportunity, and then you were urged to write a book.
Yes.
Could you walk us through the journey up to the point where you wrote the book?
Yes, of course. I was 2018. I was divorced, and I lost my work. And I was, as a result of the religion I used to believe in, I was shunned. So I was standing alone, without work, and providing for 2 children. And I had a house as well. So it was kind of a hard time. And I started to think, how can I use this as my leverage? There must be something good, because I very, very quickly understood that going down the path of depression and feeling sorry for myself will not help me to provide for my children and myself. So I started to find opportunities in all the things that they were bad. So one thing was that I started to find out I was shunned and I didn't have any social life left. I had no friends, I had no family, and I was thinking, how could that benefit me? Could that be a good thing? Well, yes, it could be, because now I had the time to think for myself. I had the time to be a mom and 100% present when I had to take care of my children. And I had the time to study. So I started to study a lot and read a lot of books and get inspiration. So instead of normally when you go through a crisis, you sit in a couch and you talk about all your problems and how unfair everything is and how horrible everything is. I didn't have that opportunity, but instead I had the opportunity to write biographies and study NLP technique and develop myself. So the isolation became my greatest benefit as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. And like, when was the first time you mentioned your experience? When did you first write about it?
I was contacted. I went to Tony Robbins' Business Mastery in Las Vegas, and I got in contact with a lot of wonderful people and business people there. And one of the women in London, I had a little more contact with, and I shared my story with her, and she said, well, this is great. You should get it published. You should tell people about it, especially women. And so I got in contact with a woman, and I got into a project called Changemakers, and I shared my chapter. I just had one chapter in this book with 20 other women. And it was very, very nice to kind of categorize what I have done and how I had done it. So I figured out that this is not just something I've done. I have had a strategy without even thinking about it. I had been very systemized and categorized when going toward my goals. And so this chapter was this book became a bestseller on Amazon, and I got contacts all around the world because of my chapter. And I was encouraged to do a solo book. And so I did this solo book because of this encouragement. I started to write it this summer, 2020, and I published it in December. And that became a bestseller as well. And I think it's because I think everybody, especially now in COVID and Corona, want encouragement. They want positivity. They want to know that we don't need to suffer. We can be leaders of our own life. We can, in fact, use all these limited things as a leverage. And so I shared that in my book, how I did my strategies. And it was very good because I had to think myself, well, what did I do? How did it go so successful? So I had to analyze it myself, the strategies that I used.
So my question here, like, you were able to analyze and understand your strategies after you attended the course.
Well, the first, I did several courses. I did Bob Proctor Paradigm Shift as well. That was a great eye-opener to start to understand how the mind works. I studied NLP, and there I got some techniques. And then we did, me and my current husband did Tony Robbins UPV and Tony Robbins Business Mastery. And those courses were also eyes openers. And of course, we got contacted a lot of people with the same mindset. And we understood that even though in Sweden, this is very unknown and very unfamiliar, the way of thinking and the mind setting, there are people all around the world uses this kind of thinking in order to not only overcome problems, but to build businesses and find relationships and use it in your life in order to success in your life, because life is not only your business or your career, it's you're kind of a one whole person. So it kind of, it was processes. It's a lot of things to learn. If you never heard about this kind of principles before, it's a lot to grasp and it's a lot to understand. So we did all these courses, and then of course I used that in my process of getting up on my feet to get again.
That is great. So could you tell us what your book, what is the title of your book is, and what strategies do you discuss throughout the book?
Yeah, so my book is called Unorthodox, and that's because what I did is extremely unorthodox, the way I think and the way I succeeded. And then the subtitle is Become the Leader of Your Own Life, because we all have our dreams. I mean, I had a dream of that became true, but other people might have dreams of climbing a mount or rescue bears or I don't know, wander in the wilderness. You have different dreams. And I think the most important thing is that you find that dream and you pursue it. And you actually think that I have the right to pursue my dream. I have the right to be happy. I have the right to be leader of my own life because this is my life and I want to be the leader. And I think one of the reasons that this has been so extremely successful and the book has been so read is because people don't feel like they are leaders of their own life now. They feel that all the restrictions and all the governments that make you rules and set restrictions for how you can associate with people and how you can build your business and what you can use your free time to is of course very, very limited. And what I went through when I was shunned is more or less the same. I could not do what I normally did. I could not join the church that I normally went. I could not spend time with the people I normally spent time with. I could not visit my family. I could not visit my friends. I was kind of in this isolation. And I think that's why people find this parallel from the shunning I was in and then the isolation people are in today, the society are in today. Okay, so the strategies that I used are very easy. And what I did in my book is that I kind of took myself on as example. I started to find out, who am I? How am I as a person? And I found out I am actually quite positive. Okay, that's a good thing. So how can I use my positivity? How can I get back my positivity? And I found a strategy of doing daily gratitude. So daily gratitude make me on a high level, on a high energy level every morning. I started my day with gratitude and I teach my children to do the same. And we just spin off with that. And after the gratitude, we started to examine what kind of movies are we looking at? Are we looking at fun movies, positive movie? Or are we looking at crimes and movies where people fight and argue? And how does it influence us? So in order to stay positive, it's not only doing the gratitude, it's also what do I let myself be impacted by every day? So that's the first thing that I did. And that's actually the first chapter in how can I stay positive, just by doing everyday thing and to think, how can I guard my mind and put that positivity. And then I have the second chapter is solution searcher, because I am very good in finding solutions. And I've always been. I have had a great fantasy, and when I was a child, I've been always very good in finding ways to come around a problem. And so I have this problem here. How can I be a solution searcher? And so I made a strategy, and I have shared that in my chapter, that to find out what do I have that I can use. So I wanted to have a job. So what do I have? Well, I lined up all my education, all my works I've done. I had a spare place in the house I could decorate as an office. I had a computer I could use. I had a phone I could use. I did have some contacts I could contact. And I did have an idea for a product that I could develop. And I did have contacts in the banks that could finance me. So I didn't do something new that was not me. I found what am I good at and what do I already have? And I listed it, and I also said, what is it worth? What I could do bookkeeping, because I'm a finance manager in the ground. So how much can I get paid for that? Who could I contact? What kind of financing could I do? And so I made all these different lists. And I had a book that every day I wanted to write 10 business ideas. It was all crazy. It was like all impossible, but I just wanted my mind to think in business ideas. What kind of business could I do? And that book is very valuable. And some of them came in the life immediately. Some didn't, and the others are kind of a refinement of idea that kind of grew up. But I share that in my book because you have so much yourself. Like I was 45 years old, but I've been working for 25 years. Of course, I have a lot of experience that could be used and can be valuable for other people. So that is also a strategy. How many strategies do you want me to share? Because I can share one more, maybe.
Yes, one more exactly.
One more. Okay, let's see. I find a good one. Focus. I'm very good at being focused. I'm very good to be organized. I do one thing in a time. When I do cooking, I already organize in my head how to organize the cooking. And that is because I'm very focused. Now I'm going to cook and I'm doing that. So how can I use that in my business and to build all my companies? Well, I could focus on what I want. I wanted to be happy, and to be happy, you do better business. And in the office, the first thing I bought was a whiteboard. So I bought some old office furniture, and a whiteboard. And every morning I wrote what to do for the day. And I decluttered my desk. So I didn't have anything to distract me. I had focus time, so 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I shut down the email, so I didn't have any plings. I shut down the phone, so I could focus because I was about to develop a product. It was very, very important for me to be focused when the children were in school. And so I share some strategies in the book, how to focus yourself in the office, how to organize and arrange your office to be focused. And I have some feng shui tips as well, because that is a strategy that I started and I used as well to stay focused, and how you direct yourself in the office in order to have high energy in your daily work. There are many tools to use that cost nothing. It's just how you turn your desk and how you declutter and turn off your phone and so on. So that is a third strategy. And I have 10 chapters just with this. The book is built, so there's a chapter about me, where I was in my life and what I struggled with, because I was in a deep, deep crisis, and I had been married for 26 years. So of course my heart was broken, and it's very hard to focus on doing something structure business when your heart is broken and you just want to cry all the time. So I share this part of my life, how I struggled with it, but also exactly how I did in order to actually set my mind straight and focus on what I wanted to accomplish.
So through your experience, like, was it easy to start a business?
Yeah and no, not really, because I used all the experience I already had, and my business partner, the one I'm married to now, has done it several times. And I think that is a key to success, to find people that can do things that you not only do yourself, because he had done it several times before. And I had only been employed. So there are some regulations and laws to follow. And I was a little unsure on that. And then I said, instead of me studying it, I let him do it. And I think that's the key to success, that don't exhaust yourself with things that you're not 100% good at. Get the knowledge from outside. So now a lot of things in our companies now are outsourced to other companies that do it better. Like we have our supplements company, all the logistic and stock and purchase is outsourced, because it takes so much time of you. And I'm not the best in doing that. I'm better in doing other things. And so the same was when starting a company. There are some laws and regulation, and I got the information from outside.
Okay, my question here is about your thinking, how your mind, how your brain works now. How is it different between the time when you were an employee and now?
Well, now, of course, as a business owner, you are motivated in another way, and you make connections to your clients in a whole other level, because your clients becomes your closest friends, and you work with them. And if they have a complaint, which can happen, you deliver too late or something happens, you nurture them when it's your own clients, because now you hold it in your own hand. It's my decision if my company is going to survive or not. And I am from my heart in the belief that just searching for money is not the best motivation to build a company, because then you will cut when it comes to quality and delivery and so on. I want to add value. I want to add value to the company owner, my client, that I deliver a service and a product to. So whenever they have a complaint, it's because I didn't add the value that they needed. So I see the clients in another way than I did before, and the clients can feel it. In this journey of Shunning, I also learned what unconditional love is. And normally we talk about love and unconditional love when it comes to our family and relatives and children. But in fact, I found that too is very productive when it comes to your clients, because you like your client and they have a complaint, but you still like your client, you still want to add value to your client. And so with this knowledge, you don't take it personal if they complained, or if there's a problem, obstacle. You go next to them and you say, well, I can understand that you have a problem. Let's solve it together. Let's find a solution. And we have had that as new company and new product owners, but as doing it that way, you tie your clients closer to yourself, and you start to cooperate. They get your business partners, not just your clients. And by doing this, the products actually get better. You improve your own product because they have solutions. I want this, I want this, I want that, and so on. And so you improve your own product all the time. So it's only a win-win situation. And I never think I have seen clients that way before. I never loved clients unconditionally. But I understand how to use it now in my business as well. And that's incredible, valuable, and it's very satisfying.
Okay, so my question here, unless you have hit that crisis, do you think you would have been able to venture into entrepreneurship and being an author?
No.
Wow.
No, I wouldn't. I'm definitely sure. And I know that when I lost my job, I was in panic. And I knew that I wanted my own company and I wanted this kind of freedom, but I was afraid. And I said, well, the easiest way is just to find a work for myself, to find another employment. But unfortunately, I didn't. And so the crisis kind of forced me to do this. So that's why also I think all these storms that we think break us, they are really just a storm clearing your path, so you can see what way and direction you're going to do in an easier way. The fog disappears. And I have one thing in the book that I followed me all through this journey, and that is that oftentimes, if you want to go somewhere, before you sit in the car, you cannot tell yourself, I want to see my whole path clear all the way from start to destination. It's not possible, because you could have curves and you have lights and so on. And you might have problems. You might have your tire flat, or might something else happened, but you still go in the car and you start the journey. You say, let's see what's happened. And that's why you come from A to B. But when it comes to start your own company, people say, oh, but this could happen, and this could happen, and that could happen. And I heard about that, and that happened to my neighbor. And so you make all these obstacles before you even start doing it. And I did that as well. But because I didn't have any choice, I started it. And of course I had problems and troubles on the way, but it kind of solves. You need people, and you call people, and you find new ways to think. And it's very, very exciting. It's very, very satisfying.
And my question here, what would you like to tell the people, to ask the people to do, to recommend to the people?
I would like to recommend to look inside and see all these amazing abilities that you have. And if you have a dream work and you love to be in someone else's hand, just continue with it. But if you have the slightest thing that, well, this is not really what I want, listen to that, because life is so short, and we are here to enjoy the life and pursue our dreams. And there are so many people that can help you on the way. And if anybody listening to this want any tips or any help, they can always find me on Facebook or email me. I have one of my home pages is where I have my email, and I'm more than happy to share. It's not my work. I'm not a coach, so I'm not a professional. I don't get paid. I don't take any money for it, but it's just such a joy to experience it myself. And that's why I share it both in my book, but also with whenever people ask me.
It has been more than awesome talking to you, Karoline, and knowing about your fantastic weather now in Sweden. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.